Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are talking today about that knowing that you get, that thing that pulls, that kind of tugs at you or taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, it's time for a change. And how to navigate that prompt, especially as you're going through the fear that comes up with it. So, little story. About 2 years ago, people started reaching out to me to be a business coach for them. And I was like, yeah, I don't really do that. And I tried to refer them to other people, and they were like, no, 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 I want to work with you. And so I was like, okay, well, as long as you know that's not my specialty, happy to help. And so we would work together. And this kind of kept happening, not all the time, but just little bits here and there. And I always thought it was just curious and a little bit odd and a little strange. And then one day, somebody who I did not know, who lived in a totally different part of the country, just found me on my website, and called me to be a business coach. And I was like, what about my website indicated to you that I was a business coach? And these little things kept happening. Like I would do a demonstration at Seattle Life Coach Training, and people would want coaching around their business. And all of this kind of like, what I felt like is there's this, I think I heard Oprah say it first. It's like God throws a pebble at your window. And if you don't hear the pebble, then he throws a rock. And if you don't hear the rock, then he throws a brick through your window, right? Anything to get your attention. And so all those little things were just little pebbles at the window. And the rock to me was that person calling me and saying, hey, but the bigger rock was when a group of students said, we really want you to be a business coach. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but I gotta kind of pay attention to this. And so I sat down and I was like, okay, if I'm going to do a business class, if God wants me, Spirit wants me to do a business class, let's work at this. Like, what would that look like? And boom, 10 minutes later, the whole class, probably 80% finished. Like the vision for it was like looking back at me. I just sat down and said, what would I do? And boom, 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 done. Now, for some of you, you might be like, great, I've got a great idea. And you might move and go with the flow and happily ever after. But for me, and I think for many of us, when we get the pebbles thrown at our window and then the rock, and we finally go, okay, let me take a look at this. Let me see if this is something I want to do. Is it time to quit my job? Is it time to move to a different company? Is it time to leave my relationship? Is it time to start something new? Is it time to change the way I eat? Is it time to change a routine in my life? Is it time to speak up? Is it time to do something different? Often what happens is the first thought at those first couple of pebbles is like, not now. I don't have time for that. This isn't, not right now. And we kind of swat it away. But as time goes on, it kind of there's a part that goes, okay, hold on. At some point, there will be a part of you that says, hold on, let me listen to this. And what I find to happen often, especially when it's like a big thing, when it's like, I know what I know, I know that it is time to do something different. Then what often happens is a big tidal wave, a tsunami of fear just crashes over. And that's what happened to me. A complete massive tidal wave of fear flushed over after I wrote out my thing, my class. It was like, it was there, it was done. I was confronted. It was like, this is your path, walk it. And it was like, holy cow. but I'm not a business coach, but I don't know anything about this. Like this, all of my fears, all of the not good enough, all of the tidal wave of this isn't for you came. And yet that pull, that rock at the window was saying, no, 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 don't listen to that. Keep going. Keep going. I say this because I'm finding that a lot of folks, are maybe in a position that I was in many times before around, do I stay or do I go? Do I make a change or do I keep doing what I've always done? And what often happens is the fear stops us. And it can stop us for a week. It can stop us for a month. It can stop us for a year. It can stop us for decades. How many of you have been stuck in a job that you don't like, that you know it's time to leave? How many of you are in a relationship that you know you are not happy with, and you've been there for years and you know it's time to change? Maybe it's time to leave. Maybe it's time to change the nature of the relationship, but something's got to give. I'm sharing this with you because these are the mechanics. This is what happens as we look at it. Oftentimes the fear shows up and we think, if it's this scary, if it's this fearful, then I shouldn't do it. And that fear will be like, yeah, you're right. You're right. You shouldn't do it. Look at all these terrible things that could happen if you changed. It'd be awful. And yet staying and not changing comes with its own cost, its own price. I will tell you, I was mired in fear, like stopped cold for months. But I kept trudging along, reaching out to people. Hold on a sec. Is there something here? Should I be afraid? Should I not be afraid? Trying to figure it out, trying to sort it out. And now here I stand. We have 1 week left of my first. I tried to do all the things I could to make it feel safe to me so that my fear wouldn't take over. I let everyone know, hey, this is new. And what that class has done has been beautiful, transformative, incredible, amazing. I cannot begin to describe the wonders that awaited on the other side of that fear. That fear is not necessarily saying something's wrong, but that fear is the part of us that is in protection mode, the part of us that is scared about change. It's that part feeling rattled. It's not, we have a choice to make. Do we trust the knowing? Do we trust that pebble at our window, or do we trust the fear? And we can spend years of our lives just trusting the fear and not doing anything. Or we can take the brave steps and step into the knowing and get to what's that fear is protecting. What is on the other side of that fear? Because that is often where the magic is. That's where the gold is. That's why our knowing keeps pulling us that way. So I want to share a poem with you that I love, that keeps me. I don't think I can share it. Hold on a sec. I'm getting all bummed. Okay, I'll just read it to you. It's called The Journey, and it is by Mary Oliver. And I will read it to you now. One day, you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voice behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, And there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life that you could save. I encourage you to show up for your knowing, to trust it, to trust the knowing more than the fear, and to keep walking through the woods, even though the wind may be prying at you and your whole house is trembling, because on the other side is the life that you are here to save, which is your own. Sending you many, many blessings. I will see you all next week.